What difference does Easter make? What difference does the resurrection of Christ make? You know, it's one of my favorite questions. I've been asked from time to time, usually by skeptics. So let me read Luke chapter 24, verses 1 through 7. This is the story of the empty tomb. Now, when I read it, remember that the stone is not rolled away to let Jesus out. Jesus is God in the flesh. The stone is rolled away so the disciples can get in and see that the tomb is empty. And I think part of understanding what difference the resurrection makes is how they would respond. But let's read it. Here's what it basically says. Luke 24, 1 through 7. On the first day of the week, very early in the morning, the women took the spices they'd prepared and went to the tomb. They found the stone rolled away from the tomb, but when they entered, they did not find the body of the Lord Jesus. While they were wondering about this, suddenly two men in clothes that gleamed like lightning, of course these are angels, they stood beside them, and in their fright, the women bowed down with their faces to the ground. Normal response to people seeing angels. But when the men said to them, "Why do you look for the living among the dead?" I love that statement. He is not here. He has risen. Remember how he told you while he was still with you in Galilee, the Son of Man must be delivered over to the hands of sinners, be crucified, and on the third day be raised again. And then they remembered his words. So again, back to the question. What difference does a resurrection make? Well, I think we could put ourselves in their shoes for just a moment and ask that question. Like, what difference do you think it made in their lives? So they now know that Jesus is not dead, that he is alive. It had to have affected everything. It had to have affected their entire outlook of life. I mean, do you think they worried as much about the hustle and bustle of life, considering the empty tomb? Do you think every situation in life would have just looked different to them? Maybe Monday is completely different to them. I would assume so. Do you think they would continue to sweat the small stuff? Do you think they worried about the thing we all worry about the most, which is death? Do you think they worried about it in light of the empty tomb? How could they fear death? They knew exactly what was in store for them. That idea of being able to be with Christ in a new body for eternity. That would be great. So this realization of the resurrection, if they took it seriously, it had to have affected the way that they lived their entire life. In fact, I would say it affected even the way that they thought. They could live in the here and now, but with the future in mind. That's with that hope. Hope in the Bible isn't wishing for something. Hope is with a confident expectation. And so I am confident they had a confident expectation of what life would be like in the future because the tomb was empty. And so, I think then for us, we have to ask some questions. Does the resurrection make any difference in our lives? And not just today, but for all of our future. Does it have a difference, or does it make a difference in our outlook, our actions, our faith, the way that we think, the way that we talk, our here and now? Does it have any effect on how we face illness and death or the coronavirus? Does the resurrected Christ, the empty tomb, does it make any difference? And so hopefully for the Christian, it makes a huge difference, and that we live a resurrected life. That is a life that is changed based upon the resurrection to a life that is promised to those who believed, that we live in that with that end in mind. And that's what we're called to.